Happy Sunday again, everybody. So here is where we are. Uh, oh my gosh. So yeah, our Wi-Fi. I feel like I'm in Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy. The Wi-Fi, man, it stopped. It just stopped. You got some jumper cables? Can you give me a jump? Oh my gosh, guys, get the word out. Let people know we're in here. There's a new live stream. I couldn't even get back into the other live stream. It kicked me out so hard. So hopefully things will go smoothly. You never know. We can get back to talking about Von Klaus, the incredible terror in the trenches, but you never know. You never know. And that's something that will make the stream far more entertaining, maybe. Maybe make it more annoying. We will see how it goes. Let me just copy this here and paste this to my good friend here. Discard that. Hilarity will maybe ensue. You never know. Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy stuff going on. So yes, I am back, everybody. Welcome to the Waffle Lodge. I hope everybody has got their orders in for what they want here at the Waffle Lodge. You deserve to have your orders after what can only be described as a charade, as the British would say. But yeah, the Wi-Fi went down. I rebooted everything to see if it would work. Who knows? Maybe they're doing some work on the Wi-Fi in our neck of the woods. There is no telling. But we'll sort it out. We'll see where it goes. If things go down again, just know that I will always love you. Yes, absolutely. Lock status dodged. Thank you, Lord Ravener. And let's, by the way, since we're back at it like a bad habit, let's make sure all of you fine people get your moment in the sun for being here, for being patient. Get the words out. Tell them that technical difficulties did happen. But we're back at it. We're going to make this happen, guys. Never trust a Wi-Fi for live streaming. Yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't the Wi-Fi. It was the entire internet in the house, which was horrendous. We'll see where it goes. Hey, Julie Pascal, good to see you. Noah, great to see you as well. Yeah, that was a weird one. I mean, I think that what they could have done is there could have just been a hiccup in our Wi-Fi because it went down in our entire house. So who knows what the heck is going on. So anyway, very, very excited about Von Klaus getting to 70K, getting to 1,000 backers. I mean, this is some incredible stuff. Charlie Stevenson, good to see you, my friend. Look at you fine people rolling in here. Yeah, you weren't late to the Waffle Lodge because the Waffle Lodge lost power. The grills went offline. The waffle baker went down, and the bacon on the grill is lukewarm, and we have to just battle our way back. But that's what we do here. That's what we do here. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm working on a bookmark for this book. It's a perk. Everyone who backs it gets it. And we are here to have a nice, easy, relaxing Sunday, or so it was pitched before everything went bananas, BANANAS, as we established in the previous stream, which was really only 5 minutes ago when you think about it. But it does feel like an eternity. What is up? Hey, Sarah Henry, how are you doing? Cranberry Langers is here. Eric the Guapo is here. Who else have we got here? Teflon Ron, how are you doing? Nothing sticks to Teflon Ron. And hail to you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Let's see who else have we got in here. My goodness, look at all this stuff. Look at all these fine people here at the Waffle Lodge. It is great to see you guys. So yeah, here's the thing. I may be a little. Hey, let me just see this real quick. Let me just check on the status of this. Maybe a little less smooth of a stream. Because I'm trying to get this whole thing hooked up still. So we'll see where it goes. Let me see what the quality is like, how robot-y it is. And hopefully, let me see here. Live. Let's see the quality. That's not the worst I've ever seen. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right. So, hello, Son of Liberty Radio. How are you doing, Vero? Great to see you guys here. Yeah, easy Sunday. I'm easy like Sunday morning, but the morning is MOURNIG. ING. Gosh, am I tired? From that, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, which is my natural state of being. And here we go. So one of the things I'm working on right now on this bookmark is happening simultaneously with a piece I'm working on for Phil's book. For those of you guys who don't know Zaid Comics, They are doing a CG vacation book, which is Speak of the Devil, and he shall appear. On your way back home from Ohio, I know it was an awesome time. I know you're going to be doing some updates on that. But I am working on a book right now for the Man in the Chat and Zaid Comics. I'm working on a piece for CG Vacation, and I may put that up in a second so that you guys can see that, and I do a little bit more work on that. So let's talk. Let's talk. It's a Sunday morning. Let me calm things down. Let's bring things back to where we were before the technical difficulties. And if the technical difficulties happen again, I'm just going to, we'll just have to table this stream, and I'll have to drown my sorrows in waffles. But let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope that we stay broadcasting here. So this is the thing that I want to talk about today. As I was working on the Downcast inspired piece for Phil's book, I was watching an old documentary that was on the DVD of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Walt Disney version of that. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, that version, the design of that Nautilus, which is one of the most iconic designs in movie history, it is sort of one of those early bits of imaginative steampunk realism, or diesel punk, or nuclear punk. I don't know what you would call it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful designed movie by the great Harper Goff, who not only designed that, he designed a lot of the attractions at Disney World. He also designed the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory sets, and he worked on Casablanca. And so this is an artist who is incredibly brilliant. And I was thinking about him, and I was thinking about all of the things I love about the ocean and underwater, as well as, of course, we're working on, we do what it says on the tin here. So let me see if I can zoom this out, and we'll get this sorted here. There we go. And I have to move my camera because it's angled wrong. So this is the piece that I'm working on right now as the cars race by. This is the piece that I'm working on right now. Yeah, if if technical difficulties happen again, there will be beatings until technical issues become better. That's exactly right. Yeah, the Nautilus is beautiful. Loved that. Yeah, Teflon Ron, we were in Youngstown, Ohio, home of Kelly Pavlik, one of the really great middleweights and middleweight champions who started out paving driveways and went on to become middleweight champion in an amazing fight with Jermaine Taylor. So hail Youngstown, Ohio. Hail to Ohio. Much love to you guys. But this is the thing about it when I'm doing this work. I want to make sure that we're creating an immaculate reality here. You know, I want to make sure that we're creating something beautiful. And part of that is putting in the kinds of things that are, you know, inspiring to me when I'm doing this kind of stuff and when I'm looking at, you know, painting and underwater creatures. And so one of the things that's inspiring to me, and one of my favorite undersea animals, because I haven't met one yet, and I'm sure that would change my emotional reaction to them, is, of course, the moray eel. And in addition to that, we've also got in this painting here a take on, it is not exactly this, but it's a take on a parrotfish. And so I wanted to play around with that and see what I could come up with for this piece. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how when we lay in the ground here on this, nice homage to the baking soda or salt logo. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's what it's all about, man. And so what I'm working on right now with this is I'm putting in, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Dan. I hope you're doing well this morning, my Grosse Point Dank brother. It's great to see you. I actually thought that was a cool thing I came up with, and then I found out there's a brewery there called Grosse Point Dank, and I went, wow, I guess I'm not as creative as I thought I was. But yeah, one of the things I love about color theory and I love about doing this kind of painting is that you can really up the ante in terms of how bright and how vivid you make your stuff. And I'm going to give you a really good example of what that means. So when I've got something like this, and I'm trying to make sure that it's going to be something that's bright and something that is going to stand out, there's a piece that one of my big inspirations on this that Gil Elvgren did that has this really incredible cartoony fish underwater with this sort of diver. And I love it. Hey, what's up, David Williams, the man here in the chat. I just played on my first take on the stream before my Wi-Fi went down. Truth, Justice, American Way. Here is the penciler, the man himself, the guy whose drawing inspires me and whose work I'm looking forward to with the great Gary Martin and my brother, Gabe Eltide. Please, please, please make sure you take a look at Truth, Justice, American Way. And of course, we've got Dan Lawless is contributing to Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales, and there is the link for that as well. So an eel named Moray. I always do. Tuesdays at Moray's is one of those things. Everybody's saying hello to David Brohawker Williams. Absolutely. Back this book, guys, if you believe in truth, justice, and the American way. And so when I'm putting this stuff together, a huge aspect of it for me, it's huge. A huge aspect of it for me is amping up the contrast and setting up these little notes. So I'm going to move this in a little bit closer so you can see what we're up to here. And then I'm going to show you how we start to build these things in. So there we go. Good. Getting that in, and then let me grab this here. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, and we're going to build that out. Here we go. So we're going to start to pull out some of those highlights that I want to have on this fish. And it's going to be very small in frame. I don't know if you guys can hear those sirens, but they're coming for me again. I don't know what I have done wrong. Somebody call Johnny Cochran. But this is one of the things that is going to just give it that little extra bit of immaculate reality right there by putting these colors in. Now, there's a lot more stuff going on in this piece, but the thing about it for me when we're doing this stuff is to make sure that every little part of it that might catch your eye is going to have just enough of what it needs to not distract from the piece and just enrich it just that extra bit. Walt Disney back in the day used to call it the Walter Elias Disney, by the way, not the company. Back in the day used to call it plussing, and I do think that there's something to be said for that. It's not overkill. It's not, just rendering the thing to death for me. And it's so much of an intellectual process as I'm making it sound, in terms of not intellectual, but rational process, I should say. A lot of it is just you kind of feel the canvas texture of the paper, you feel what you're working on, and you just kind of go from there. And that's what makes this, the media that I work in, is that I enjoy the way that traditional media works. I do enjoy digital as well. Every time you see an intro on this show, every time you see any intros I do for anybody else, I'm working in digital. So I love that stuff. Let's see here. I can see the details. Yes, the Coppertone ad. You're absolutely right. Yes. It is referencing the Coppertone, famous Coppertone ad. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I know. Yeah, not baking soda, salt. There you go. I know. I got you. Yes, the Coppertone sunscreen ad, which was such a great ad design and really funny when you think about it. But my wife actually helped me come up with that. She was looking at it and she said to me, I said, "What, babe? I'm looking at all these swimsuit issues and I don't know a ton about it. I never read a lot of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues. I saw the pictures, but it was, like when, I guess during their heyday, but it's not typically when I paint stuff, I'm looking at, Frazetta and that kind of stuff. And, but I do know that there's a thing to it. And I do think that there's an essential quality. I remember the Image comic stuff, all those great pinup works and pinup artists. Oh, hang on a second. Whoa, hold the phone, folks. Hold the phone. And by that, I mean, hold the phone. We've got a special guest here this morning.
Hey.
Special guest. How are you doing this morning, man?
Is it still the morning? I don't know anymore. Who cares? Sunlight's for the quitters, man. I'm a writer.
That's right.
Hiss. I'm in the dark over here. I don't know what time of day it is, and I love it. How are you doing?
I am doing great, man. Congratulations on 70K, 1,000 backers. How does that feel?
Whoa,
man?
did I get 70K all of a sudden?
Or is it 60 or 70? Hold on. No, wait, whoa.
Thanks, bro. Whoa, no, I'll go with that. We'll go with 70.
Let's see here. Or is it just no 60? Sorry, not 70. 60.
We actually just right before you let me in crossed 61K.
61. There it is, guys.
Just crossed it. 1,010 backers.
That is awesome. I blame looking at Bogan streams too much for the inflation. You know, you go on Michael's show and he shows your campaign and you're like, $200,000, and then you go to it and it says $5,000.
You're like, this guy just took over the planet with his first book. Yeah.
No, seriously though, just to be clear though, you did take over the planet with your first book, and you are continuing your reign with this book. Are you excited, man?
Yeah. This is the I'm a little on the older side, man. Like, I know I look a bit younger, but like I'm 43 now. I spent my whole life working up to be able to achieve something like this. And so to be able to do it is really gratifying. Like, as an artist, to be able to pay my own way with my work for once, this is something, I mean, I've done a lot of different work in a lot of different fields forever, but my love was always comics. That's where I always came back. That was my mistress. And she's cruel to a lot of people, but to me so far, I mean, she hasn't brought the axe down yet. I'm sure she will, but for right now, I'm doing well. And this is what I love to do too. So like, I consider myself just really freaking lucky. Like, and at the same time, I'm not just making books and selling them and going, yay, money. No, I'm interacting with like the best fan base ever. Yes. I'm interacting with the coolest artists in indie right now. Like, this is a dream, man.
It is.
It goes way outside just me doing well on my book,
Yeah. And this is the thing too. Yeah. I want to work on a collection of your work going back to the early days. And I think I'm going to call it Von Klaus Beyond the Goose. After that last stream with the Mother Goose piece that was you fighting the man at an early age with your subliminal Mother Goose art.
My post Goose period was a very turbulent time that people should know about if you want to understand the artist behind the artist.
The artist behind the artist.
Behind the
enigma.
Behind the artist. Yeah.
So here's the thing I was talking about the other day on stream. I can't remember. I think it was on Jeremy Lord, Crackhead 33's amazing channel. And we were talking about your book. And I said, I don't know if the plan for you is to because I don't know, continue on with Terror, do another Monster MD. What are you thinking in terms of this character, in terms of your next project, or something unnamed and unknown yet? Are you leaving that open?
No, man. The momentum we have with Terror is something to behold and something to keep going. And also, man, like here's the thing. After Monster MD, I learned a lot. I learned this is like I have to cut the fat on my books and make books more around the 70-page mark. So I still give you a lot for your money, give you the content you deserve for your money, but also like keep them a little lighter, keep the print costs a little down, and just be able to make them faster so I can get them in your freaking hands. Yeah. So yeah, man, like let's churn out book 2, book 3. Let's finish the trilogy for everyone, not make you wait forever to finish this story. And then let's hit everybody hard with the 1-2 punch and do Monster MD 2, something big. While all that's going on, I'm doing all these other projects and have books coming out, like where I'm working with other companies. So like, you're going to be just seeing all this stuff coming out for me here and there. And also just stuff that I've done in Comicsgate. People are showing me the art is getting done on these scripts now. Everything from Sovereign Wolf to my stuff with John Malin. He got an artist for that, for our project on Godlike. Going to be absolutely one of the most killer things you've ever seen. I'm having a great time, man. Yeah, this is great. Anyway,
no, dude, listen, no. This is having you in here with 14 hours to go in that initial funding period is huge. And I have to say, all these folks, look at all this. We've got a lot of hello. Yeah, I saw 70K too. We all want to see 70K here, but maybe we're just on the wrong. We're gonna get there. We're gonna blow that out of the water.
Yeah, I can tell people about the flagging thing because I've learned a little bit more. Not from Indiegogo, unfortunately. They, of course, it's the weekend, so I don't expect to hear from them. But people have been coming out to me and telling me their personal stories, and I've learned a lot because apparently the Indiegogo trust and safety people are a real, they could be a real issue. They could really,
Yes.
and they will not just become an issue for you during your campaign. Your campaign can be done and closed, and they will come at you anyway about things later,
good.
which is crazy. People have, which is crazy. So like so first of all, the way it was worded to me, the way the email was when I got it, I read it and it sounded like someone had put in a ticket to have a complaint with my campaign. Is the way they made it sound. But that's just their weird wording. When I look into this more and hear all the stories from people, it sounds a little like Indiegogo themselves have a trust and safety campaign of moms wearing helmets and other safety protection gear that have gotten way out of line and are like kind of overstepping bounds. So I'm hoping to talk to them and work this out and show them that I'm not promoting violence with my terror gas vial. If anything, I'm promoting safety because there's a nice toxic warning label on the top of the vial. Moms love that shit. Moms live for that. Also, you can't take the lid off, so I don't know anything. If that's as childproof as it gets, you guys should be like hailing me as an innovator, not
that's exactly right.
Not a violence. Not a person who pushes violence on the kids. So anyway, I'm just trying to I'm going to try to work this out. Hopefully Monday I can give you guys some more data, but like, that's it. I think that it wasn't necessarily a flagging like I had thought before. I'm leaning towards Indiegogo themselves, their little council, the evil council, decided that there's a problem with one of my perks. So we're going to work this out, guys. We're going to work it out. It's going to be
it's going to get worked out. And here's the other thing too, and what you've been seeing and what you guys are continuing to do is put your money where, your mouths are and where your hearts are in terms of comics and backing this book like crazy. We've seen a massive jump. I want that to continue to roll because this book, the thing that's so funny about it is if you look at every massive phenomenon, every sort of, cult classic, dare I say, hey, what's up, Antoine Dennison? Good to see you. And anyone I have not said hello to, let me know in the chat. I'm going to make sure I get you on screen. But this is the thing about it is that every time there's some, feedback on something like this, or we get some blowback on something like this, it only catapults it to superstardom. Going all the way back to Jawbreakers, Cyberfrog, whatever it is, it just turbocharges our audience because our audience is like, don't tell me what comics I get to read. I'm an adult. It clearly shows what this book is about. And if your kids are somehow have their own credit card or, surfing, Indiegogo looking for books of this sort, maybe that's something to sort in your household. And I say that as father myself. And it's not something to come after the artist with, because if we're going to live in a free society, we need to make sure that people are able to express themselves creatively, or I've been told.
Or so history has shown us.
Yes. Absolutely. And it really does kind of, it's what I find kind of interesting is that, that there's so much artistic and aesthetic beauty in that book. I think it is one of the finest looking books. We've got Phil there saying fun. Yeah. Everybody's saying hello. That it is like, it's this beautiful cross between everything I like about American comics, manga, and even bande dessinée. It is like a global aesthetic. It is amazing.
Without
the international style.
Yeah, the international. I like that. That's cool, man. Yeah, because Monica, as being Italian, that like Euro comes in.
Oh, yeah.
She loves. You can tell like her love for manga is in there too. And animation and stuff. So and then my manga style storytelling mixes in with Monica's, and you get that awesome like action. You get those fights that are a little more elaborate, a little more clever, a little more storytelling within themselves, and then you get that Euro style. You're right. Like once we added Tiago with the colors, I was like, man, any like collector of European comics would be proud to own this too,
Absolutely. It really is. It does have this great, absolutely. See, and this is why, my first project for Comicsgate, the writing is going to be sublime. Here's one of my quotes from this stream. We live in a society. It's so true. Absolutely right. But it's so funny too when you were saying, you're 43, I'm 45, so we probably have a very similar, what we grew up on, the
background,
kind of stuff,
upbringing. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And it's like, but it's weird. We're both getting to do this now because of Comicsgate, It's not for a lack of love.
Yeah.
It's not for anything. It's just the barriers in CG between what you have in your head and what you can get out there straight to the fans are gone now.
Yeah, that's a lovely piranha you have going there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, it's misbehaving.
Of course.
Because
we got to sell sunscreen or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody's been talking copper tone. That's how it works.
Well, like one thing to remember about piranha, you might already know this yourself. But I'm a nerd. I used to work at a zoo, so like I want to tell you, and I used to film the piranha a lot. Like I liked them. Yeah. They have these certain little scales here and there that are more like little fleckles that have this little like reflective sheen that like bounces back. You can see it in pictures sometimes. So yeah. Anyway,
no, I used to love. I've painted a few piranha. Yeah. I've done the.
Okay, yeah, you probably are all over it.
Oh yeah. Well,
it's so cool. It's such a like creepy little scale. You know what I mean? A little pop that you can give them.
Yeah. So wait a second. You worked in a zoo and now you're in comic skate. So not much change.
Well, here's the thing that's so interesting. Like I worked in the zoo. I was already comic skate, and then like I got this job. I have this whole career going, and then once presidents changed, like over to Biden, like they were like they knew I didn't support that stuff, and all knives came out, and then I broke my ribs, and then they were like, "You're out, done." Like after like working for them for 3 years and like building this new position for them into something like workable, something that was great for the zoo, I just got tossed. And a lot of people reached out to me and they were like, dude, that was political. That's bullshit. A lot of people were like, I'm sorry to see you go. Cause I had great times there, dude. I was filming exotic animals, like in cages with them, like telling stories about them, running social media, making cute, stupid puns to make the moms happy. And I was making money. I had a great office. But I was also like on my feet outside and like working, like touching snow leopards and shit, and like working amazing. To tell their stories and get people engaged with these great animals. And so it's an amazing time in my life that I'll never take for granted, but at the same time, I'm making Monster MD and running that behind the scenes. And like, no wonder it took so long, like doing that job, like running, working for a zoo like that. And then, running, trying to make Monster MD and get it out, man. God, yeah, it was an intense time. I'm happy that I'm, not working there now. If anything, Monster MD proved that I didn't need the zoo anymore before I even left.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone at the zoo probably knows that. Like,
well, this is the thing too. It's you are one of those people, and I've been lucky enough to get to know you more as a result of CG Team and that great show on Tuesday on Eric Weathers' channel. And after the stream, when you talk about art, you must be, the ultimate artist's writer. I think that you and Phil both have that in common. And one of the things that was interesting is when you talk about art, it's like you're seeing the pictures in your head and you're describing it in the way that, you would hear stories about Walter Elias Disney, not the company, describing that stuff. And I got to tell you, to step in on something like a character that's in the public domain that other people are launching at the same time, go head to head with them and have yours be the more compelling version is amazing. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hang on a second here. Of course, David Brohawk Williams is always here. Yeah, absolutely. Let me get this on screen. What kind of show am I running? Hang on a second. What is?
Well, I mean, I was enjoying the lady, but yeah, we can show a little blood now. We can move on from sex to violence. I'm okay with
exactly. That. That's right. We've got to show the people what we're doing here. So let me figure this one out. Share screen. There we go. Hey, Chrome tab. Boom. And we are going to add this to the stream. There you go, guys. $61 and $63. Let's refresh. Who knows? Let's see if anything has moved on it. Let's see. Not yet, guys. We're at 1,010. So let's see what we can do.
We did it. As far as I'm concerned, this is a success for me on this campaign to get 1,000 backers before the 2 months is up. I'm so happy. We outdid Monster MD already. By every metric. This is good. This is progress. This is where I want to go. This is something I want to take larger with each book I do. Hopefully, we'll see. But if not, I mean, this is such a great amount already. It's a successful amount, in my opinion, and I'm just happy. We still have the book to finish. Then the art is just looking gorgeous. This is such a, I don't know, man. It's weird when like you spend your whole life as a kid, even if you're playing with other kids and you like try to like, I think this would be cool, and they're like, no, that's freaking lame. And you grow up and like you're trying to be a screenwriter and you're like, write your script and you're like, I think this would be cool. And people are like, no, I'm editing that. That's not cool. That's lame. And like finally, it's like finally in my life, I get to be like, well, I'm going to do it my way or the highway. This is it. You're just going to, and if it's cool, cool. If you're, you know, and people are responding, like people dig it. People see something to it, you know? So I'm really happy. It's, I could have spent
your
my whole
fans
life
here are ride or die, man. They will
yeah.
follow you. And I remember when, you know, Ethan was talking about that, and I feel, yeah, absolutely. I want to see a Dan Lawless Black Terror. People are campaigning now, for their favorite artists, and it's one of the things.
I think I asked.
Go ahead.
I think I asked him. I think I asked him for a Black Terror, and I think he said he would absolutely love to do a Black Terror, but his schedule is, you know, is his schedule.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll see what happens in the future, maybe, you know, because there's 2 more books to go, guys. There's all this time for other awesome artists, including you, Shan.
I'm ready to rock. Let me know, man. I'm ready.
I want you. I want it. I need that. Your style is so ready to like mingle with mine. It's not even funny.
Absolutely. And that's what I love the idea of it, you know, is that you're such a fun creator to work with. And I will say this is that it's when you see it, there's an infectious there is an infectious enthusiasm to everything about Vaughn, period. And I think that it's the kind of thing that could cause a square to have an allergic reaction. And that's the thing that's the issue, you know, is it's like we've got, you know, your amazing work and all the great stuff that you do. And people who aren't able, you know, there's certain people who don't have the kind of enthusiasm and passion for their work that you do. And they look at it and some people go, wow, this is great. I'm so glad to know Vaughn and be able to back his work and make this, you know, campaign a success. I'm a fan of this guy for life. And then there's certain other people who I think just kind of like are almost angry at the kind of fun that you're able to have and share with people. And we've got to make sure that, you know, as your fans, and I count myself as one, and backers, as I am one as well, that we're making sure that the stuff that we love is getting a reaction. Because regardless of what anyone tries to do, you can kick Ethan out of DC. You can remove, you know, John Malin, your boy Zach, off of you know, God, I can't remember, Kickstarter. No matter what happens, you've already made contact with your fan base. You know, with going back to Monster MD.
I think so. Yeah,
this is awesome.
The work's paying off. Yeah, for sure, man. This is great. It's what, you know, it's so weird, like making this type of work now and trying to build a future on it. And it's like a weird gamble in a way, but because I failed so much and done so much throughout my life and worked so hard to get here, I don't feel as worried or nervous when I do this. I'm like, man, this is going to be so cool. Like, there's no way people aren't going to love this. You know what I mean? I do get myself excited and get infectious over it, because how else do we make people excited about comics again? Back in the old days of CG, that was one of the big things that I was, that kind of resonated with me, was the whole idea of electrifying the audience again. And showing that it's a viable audience that's worth listening to again, instead of just thinking that it's all about the movies, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's, if we're not going to, you know, be in the corporate comic game, or at least that scale, because it isn't a top-down creative process. It's coming from artists and fans voting with their wallets. If we're not going to do that, then we should be able to out-entertain, to be able to pivot, to be able to tell stories that they can't tell. You know, and I can imagine, you know, when I think back to Image Comics, back to those days, I am sure that the kind of folks who want to police the content of art would not have allowed for The Dark Knight Returns, would not have allowed for The Killing Joke, for Spawn issue 5, 1, 2, 3, or 4. those kinds of things go beyond their understanding of that experience. And the more of us who, we need it as an audience, as human beings, we need stories that are full and rich and kind of, cover the entire human experience.
Oh,
That's
it's
what
like a meal. It's like
Yes.
food. Do you know in some like tribal cultures, their best storyteller is the most revered person in the village?
Well,
move
in
there.
Comics Kid, I think we're there. Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. Though, no, it's true. It's because
it's food for our souls, for our wisdom, for our spirits, for our for how we approach our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, for what we aspire to be, for who we aspire to, for being a better person. Not all the time, but sometimes. Some other times it's fun. It's mindless escapism that really helps you take the edge off a bad fucking day. And that's in itself is valuable too. It's so many.
I just love that I feel like you pivoted as you were having this deep thought, and then you looked at your screen and saw my painting. Went, but sometimes. No, I'm kidding.
You know what I did? I pivoted. I looked down at like some cat hair on my desk, and I was like, "Man, that's a lot of cat hair." This sucks.
Well, listen, I will tell you this, man.
I'm surrounded by hair.
I don't know about you, but I don't think I realized to the degree when I saw this stuff is that
Oh shit,
God,
Mr. Lawless,
I love this.
Thank you.
And here you go. I see why Vaughn loves this piece you're working on now, Sean. It reminds me of his zoo days. There you go.
This is exactly the type of stuff that would happen in the piranha tank all the time. Yep.
When I was a kid, one of my formative experience with animals was there was a tank, an aquarium that had a moray eel in it that was blind, and it was a rescue animal. And
oh my God, really?
Yes, yeah. And I
did you guys call it the Moray Charles eel?
Exactly. This is why, man.
I'm sorry.
This is why this book is going to be huge, man. Hey, what's up, Tari? Good to see you, my friend.
It's a bad joke.
No, man. Listen, it was, and I sat there as a kid and just staring at it. Finally, they saw me staring at it, and they go, "Would you like us to feed it while you're here, so it'll come out a little bit more?" And I just fell in love. What a really just beautiful and haunting and creepy. It's everything, frankly, I love about the aesthetic of the work I'm doing and why I love Terror in the Trenches.
What was the name of the seal?
I don't remember, actually.
Okay. We'll call him Moray Charles.
No, we're gonna call him Moray Charles eel.
Moray Charles.
That's happening. That is the name of this eel.
Like I can tell from your aesthetic, your love for the moray, for the eel, for their bizarre and unique kind of eerie aesthetic. Like it's all there in multiple works I've seen of yours, man. Yeah, there's
yeah.
And
I always try.
Their look is so. You're right. It is haunting. It's creepy, but I love it because you just stare at it and they stare at you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've always been creeped out by the undersea stuff. I mean, it's just so unforgiving. Like you're just there and you get eaten. Like you're floating in the water. There's nothing you can do. The big creature shows up. You get eaten. Like that's the sea. It doesn't care. You're gone. You disappear. No one ever hears from you again. It's over. That creeps me out.
That's the theme of this piece, man. Actually, and right as I zoom in, right, but it's the theme of this piece is she's scuba diving. There's all these animals. Her bathing suit gets pulled. But if you look in the background, there's a gigantic shark behind her and everyone. And that was the fun of it. It's and the thing about that giant shark is it's got black eyes like a doll's eye. No,
like a doll's eyes.
That's just the best, man. I was watching they did a documentary not long ago on his life, Robert Shaw, and they were interviewing his granddaughter who speaks fluent Gaelic, and it was just so beautiful to hear her. And his son actually speaks it as well. Let's see here. I hope you make there you go. I hope you make an 11x17 art print. I love that painting. Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be so much cool stuff coming out in CG. I'm telling you. And 80s made consumer. If you have not checked out Terror in the Trenches yet, absolutely check it out. And feel free to get the word out. It is a great book, man. And I loved it. He did a video on how fan culture used to be a nerdy thing. And then when the hipsters came in who were like, I don't like comic guys. And then it was comic guys are excluding me. It was a great video talking about all this stuff. And I was just laughing my head off because it was he was showing all the video clips of this person before, nerd culture became big.
Well, let's also think about this though. Like, let's think about other angles on this. Like, I remember when Dark Knight was like the shit, right? Like, in fact, it hadn't come out yet. The second Batman, Christian Bale, hadn't come out yet, and all the nerds were just smug as hell about it. Like, we were like that one was on us. A lot of us, we were like, yeah, we're kind of the cool thing now. Like, chill out, nerd. Like, I'll give you a wedgie and we can talk about it or whatever. But like, they were, and I was on this podcast back then, and we were talking about it, and I was like the only one who was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to be as good as everyone thinks or whatever. Like, I was like, I don't think the Catwoman's going to be as good or memorable as other Catwoman women, like Michelle Pfeiffer and stuff. And the other dude on it just went ballistic on me. He was like, what the hell? And when he did, I was kind of shocked. He was like yelling, right?
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. He seemed like a chill dude when we first started. I did not know the guy, but he was just a nerdy part of it. He was like one of the hosts on the cast. He went ballistic, and I remember thinking, like, something's up. Like, he thinks that, like, this is our time and, like, we're the hot shit or whatever. Like, that's no good. Like, it's not about us being the coolest or whatever. Just, like, appreciate the thing, But, like, just for any criticism of it, like, he went ballistic.
Yeah, there was a shift to being a nerd and a nerd or whatever it is, being a fan of this stuff that we all know wasn't something you were going out and going, hey, ladies, like,
you're an outcast.
We did it. Yeah, absolutely. And it became a status thing. And once these people who chase status over true wealth in the real sense, both financial and intellectual, spiritual, whatever it is,
right.
Once they came in there, this status-minded person, to be clear, it became all about, they identify with a particular concept or idea, and then they defend it to the death, regardless of how idiotic it is.
Yeah.
And with us, we actually are the people who have those long, silent conversations staring at the piranha in their tank. You know what I mean?
Even look at whatever you did. I don't know how you did this, but like, you even see little blue veins in her leg that I don't think you like planned at all. It just kind of happened through the brilliance of your work.
Oh, well, thank you. So let's not turn this into an inquisition. You're not supposed to return fire. This is, but you know what it
Beautiful.
It's, when you're writing and you're coming up with these amazing stories, when I hear you brainstorm, I'm just like, I feel like you've got a third eye that just opens up, and it's like, here it is,
Well, you're, it's okay. Here's the thing. Okay. I'm getting a little scared. Like, if I keep going down this path, will I like fall off the planet reality, because as I write more and as I'm more of an artist, and maybe it's probably as I smoke bowls. Okay. Smoke some weed. I'm like starting to feel like you ever hear Alan Moore talk about how like writing and creating stuff is magic and like spelling is magic. And that's why we use the word spell for spelling. Because it's like you're creating a word, and then that creates something in someone's mind, and then that creates an image in their mind, and in a way you've created an image in their mind, and that therefore that is magic in a way.
Yeah.
So he believes that shit. Well, like I'm starting to fucking believe that too. Like, I'm starting to realize how much of our world is like a bunch of illusionists. Everyone around us are a bunch of illusionists, and like people cast magic in all these different ways to like cause like joy and healthiness and pleasure and fun, and other people use their illusion to create pain and tragedy and toxic and whatever. And it's crazy to think about, but like, it's like a world of like colliding magic all around me. And I'm just trying to use mine to do my, like, to entertain you guys. And I don't know why I just went off on this rant about this. I'm sorry.
No.
It's because it's like I'm falling off reality a little, Sean. Like
listen.
And yet I feel like I understand it better than ever, but no one's going to believe me. So I try not to say this stuff much, but like every now and then you'll hear me go, yeah, pretty much all women are witches, and everyone freaks out. Like, but it's really because I think some women use their magic for good, and you see them like raising kids in ways that I could only dream of, and like raising gardens and making plants grow, which I'm not great at. And then like I see them use it for bad too.
Well, I think
It's
that to us, I believe anyway, my personal take on it is that there is a and I was talking about this the other day with somebody, that there is a power and a magic and a mysticism to femininity that is something that when I'm doing this painting right here, and I can look at pinups, I can look at all of this different stuff, and I was actually saying this the other day, that I know that there's a lot of work that goes into when a woman is like, all right, I'm going to like knock your socks off. Although sometimes it's effortless. It is what it is.
I love the
But
effortless ones, man.
yeah, there's something to be said. And when we go to do these paintings, though, we realize what a mountain that is to climb. To try to it's like pinning an angel to a piece of paper. And it's the thing that's interesting is that what people the greatest way to demoralize a group of people, a group of fans, any humanity in general, is to create a kind of it's to starve imagination, a poverty of imagination. And what you do with your work, and the reason why I think it has such an impact is because you're putting so much imagination out there, because you're putting so much great stuff out there, and it's feeding people at a time when the Mickey Mouse and the Walt Disney Empire launched during the Great Depression, when people were at their lowest. They needed to see this plucky character who himself was living on the brink, and was just going and trying to make stuff happen. And I think in a lot of ways that's what CG is. People feel this tsunami of imaginative poverty, and then they come to Comicsgate, they see this stuff, and they go, my gosh, I feel like I've been starving, and finally someone's giving me food, imaginative food. And that's huge.
There it is, man. Food. There it is. Yeah, it's not I feel like in the way I create, it's not unlike a chef picking all the right ingredients and figuring the right amounts and just making it, And I like darker things. I like them a little more of a horror edge. That's what part of why Black Terror worked for me. I was like, I can give him more of a horror edge, and it works for the character. His name demands it, in my opinion.
Yes.
And so yeah, we're chefs, and then other times I'm up late smoking, writing, and I feel like I'm more like jamming on music, and I feel like we're all like the grunge scene, like about to explode in the '90s in a way too. So it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that it's there you go. That's it in a nutshell. Yeah, they say entertainment dollars do go up during these times because people need their myths, they need their pulp, and only during. I always think during times that are so flush with opportunity and wealth and the ability to not have to think about, how the struggle to survive, do you get the low kind of decadent arts that are deconstructionist and negative, and not in the sense of really like what we did as nerds when we would go and have these incredibly circular debates that don't have a winner, except for that you get to participate in a discussion. Who's your favorite character? What's your favorite story in this series? That is the stuff that is gold. And yes, cheers to you, Nikotronus. Good to see you, my friend. That's the stuff that I loved. And you have to be a little, what is it? You don't have to be crazy to be Comicscape, but it helps. I think we could use that. We mean it.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Hello, beautiful people. Can you hear me? Am I coming in loud and clear? So we're having Wi-Fi outages in our area. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Vaughn, the link still works. So if you are there, my brother, pop back in. We are back. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. Because you never know. Let me see where we are. I swear, people, by Grapthar's hammer. Yes, I'm back. I've returned from the dead. Vaughn, if you can hear me, we're back. So pop on in here and we'll see if that works. Let me see here. Back. Send that message there. And there we go. So 5 by 5. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're back, guys. So here's what's happening. And this is, they're doing some work in our area. We're getting updates of outages. I don't know what they're doing, but it's nothing that we can control on our end. But hopefully it'll hold together and we won't have too many other problems. But yeah, let's get back to painting. And Vaughn hopefully will pop in here in a second if he can, if his Wi-Fi is stable, and we'll go from there. So let's get back to this fish, folks. Let's get back to painting fish. And I am going to be, thank you, Scottsley. You guys are the best, man. You guys are the best. Thank you for hanging in there. This is the second stream we've had this problem with. If it happens a third time, I'm just going to go eat waffles until I pass out. It is great to see you guys, everybody here in the chat. Thank you for being here. And thank you guys for dropping links for Terror in the Trenches here in the chat. And we're going to fight the difficulty of the Wi-Fi here until we can't fight anymore. That's all there is to it. So hang on a second. Let me just make sure I got that message off. Let me see here. I have to. Oh, okay. Excellent. Awesome. So Vaughn has to jet, so we're going to get back to painting. And he's talking to me about, Vaughn, if you're out there, I can hear you. Yeah, we'll chat about a Terror in the Trenches piece soon. We absolutely will. So, guys, just to wrap up on what Vaughn was saying there and cover this stuff, what a great artist, what a tremendous writer. Let's make this campaign move. Let's get this campaign to 6 figures before all is said and done. And in the meantime, let's just keep moving it and getting the word out. So let's get back to some painting here, trying to get into a groove on this. And if we go down again, I'm going to catch you guys later. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that, but we'll see. We'll see where things go. I cannot make everything work. Yeah, Vaughn is a great talent. Vaughn is brilliant. Yeah, good book, Vaughn. Absolutely, guys. And so, yeah, and here's Vaughn Klaus's channel. So make sure you subscribe to that if you're not. And yeah, that's a parrotfish. Absolutely right. So this is a parrotfish, or a sort of a modulated parrotfish. Is this a CG first? The chat has proven we can carry a show. Listen, that's not a first. The chat is always, yeah, Shane is right about that. You know, I got to tell you this. But the chat's always been able to carry a show. Thank goodness. It's been, whenever I look and there were only one set of footprints in the sand, I ask the chat, where were you then? And the chat says, those were the times we carried you. And I agree, chat. Thank you so much for carrying the show, making things happen. Maybe Rich Ayala's Roach Balls will drop in next. Yeah, if Rich is in the area, if he's in the vicinity, if he is watching this stream, I will absolutely send him a link. And we can talk about his campaign as well. Another great campaign. But tonight on Michael Bancroft's channel, I know that they are going to be closing out Terror in the Trenches. And I am looking forward to seeing that and seeing where all this work takes us. Yeah, you were carrying me. Yeah, absolutely. During those times. Now, I don't know why there were one set of footprints. Maybe you guys were on each other's shoulders. I don't want to think too much about it. I think it gets into some sketchy territory. But, listen, I'm not here to judge your journey. I am here to entertain you and make great comics. So let me see here. Enrique Cabrera. When you saw only one set of footprints, it was because I was riding your back, Cecil. No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Yeah, please subscribe. Be sure to check this out. Dan, are you near your computer? I think I'm going to have you in on the show so that when we crash, I'm going to crash with somebody else. If you're available, if you can get set up and feel like popping in here, man, let's do it. Let me know. Hey, Sumo Thori, great to see you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys all take turns carrying us. Listen, if you have any doubts, look at the Nosfero campaign, guys. Look at what we have been able to do on this campaign. It is continually going up. You guys are backing. You guys have backed 9 out of 10 of the original watercolor gouache painting tier, and I appreciate that so much. So actually, let me send Dan the link here because I just realized he doesn't have the link, so I don't know exactly how he would ever get in here. So let me see if I can find Dan. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Excellent. Okay, so we got a couple of things going. Let's see where this goes. Besides, to heck fire. Let me see here. All right, here's this. Here's this. Here's this. And here is that. There we go. So I think I sent that to Dan, and we're going to see where it goes. All right, cool. So let's see what we got. Oh my gosh, here. Yeah. Getting the links for that. We can always take turns carrying you. Absolutely. You guys, when it comes to this, work we're doing in this campaign, let me just share this Google window while we can, God willing, and the creek don't rise. This right here is where we are because of you guys. All right. This right here. We are at $22,635. And that to me is one of the all-time, best examples I can think of Comicsgate taking a creator who, yes, have done 2, Indiegogo books, 2 art books. Those are available as an add-on perk. But this is my first CG project. You guys, have shown tremendous faith and trust in this. The work is going to be outstanding, and it is such wind in my sails to see you guys doing it. Yeah, on each other's shoulders, like circus performers, very talented. Yeah, you guys are. There's no one else I would rather be hanging with than you guys, which is why I fight my way back onto the stream as often as I can. Every time I get booted off here. So let's do this here. I'm going to remove this so we can get back to talking art. See what we've got here. CG Crash Party stream. Yeah, absolutely. That's what happens. You guys party in the chat. When is Sean's Nosfero versus Narwhal's Nosferatu cover coming? Do a live stream or offer a crossover cover to see if it stimulates sales numbers. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we've got a lot of really cool stuff planned. I want to do a stream with Narwhal where we talk about Nosferatu. That's got to happen. And we're slowly creeping up on having however many subscribers. Let me just see if I've got this taken care of here. There we go. Messages are fast and furious. Let's see here. There we go. But when we're working on this stuff and when we're putting this stuff together, that's why Comicsgate is the best, indie entertainment scene ever, is because we take our ideas and we put them into practice. Why'd you go with Vimeo and not YouTube, Sean? Oh, for the trailer? I've always had done stuff on there, and YouTube was the new thing for me. But I think I'm going to upload my trailer on my trailer is uploaded on YouTube, but I think I'm going to link the YouTube to it. I think that's my plan. We're very lightweight, and we don't sink down as far into the sand. That's right. Still one watercolor sketch left. Absolutely. Chat du Soleil. Absolutely. My powers went out a minute after Sean's Wi-Fi went out, and it takes forever for my network to come back. Yeah, there's some stuff going on, as my brother Eric Weathers of Battle Brick Road on the Battle Brick Road to 100K to 6 figures would say there was something hinky going on. There's an ongoing hinkiness. Yeah, absolutely. Isn't this about 12 hours too early for the show? Yeah, guys, I was up and running for this stream about 6 hours after I went to bed. That's how it goes. Rich Ayala just so happened to be drawing and listening. Excellent. If you feel like popping in here, Rich, let me know. I will send you the link, my friend, and you can pop in. So just let me know in the chat. So have you figured out what the prize will be for the 1,000 subscribers raffle? Yeah, an original piece of artwork, period. I will be sending somebody an original painting, and that is going to happen. Absolutely. Here's at Rich Ayala's Roach Balls. Absolutely. Roach Balls. Yay. Yeah, hey, indeed. Hello, Roach Balls. Yeah, look at all you guys, you fine people in here. Yeah, I have to say this, and a shout out to Rich Ayala, and also a shout out to a fellow Rhode Islander. And I want to say a shout out to Dying Days of YouTube for that astounding trailer. What great stuff. Let's see here. There you go. So, yeah, as I work on this piece, this is for Phil's. Oh, I had intermittent Charlie Stevenson saying I had. Oh, yeah, let me get that link. There you go. I had intermittent internet outages yesterday in Arizona. No problems today. Yeah, hinkiness abounds. So now I've got to find Rich. Where is it? Oh, for heaven's sake. Hang on a second. Hang on a second here. I thought I'm following you, Rich. What is going on? Yes, I am following you. So they should be able to do this. Hold on. Boomerang about. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. I probably typed in. That's what it is. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, let's see here. Is it not allowing me to send you messages? That is a weird one. Okay, hang on a second here, cats. Okay, let me dedicate my time to this here and make sure I can get this to work here. Okay, you follow me, I follow you. So that seems like that should allow for that to happen. And we're going to try that one more time. Add a message. Okay, here it's working. Here it's working. There we go. There we go. Okay, I want this. Next. And this is like watching your parents send an email. I'm so sorry, guys. But this is what it's going to be like because it is one of those mornings. It's one of those Sundays, people. All right, Rich, let me know if you get this, and we're going to go from there and see where it goes. So, yeah, Rich, let me know because I've been wanting to have you on this stream. Everybody keeps telling me, and I'm like, yeah, 2 Rhode Islanders, 1 stream. I'm in Texas, so not too close. There you go. Yeah, let's see what else. Yeah, Texas, we got a lot of our people in Texas. A lot of our people in Texas. Boomer Shanth adjusts his bifocals. They're not even that. They're reading glasses. It's even more tragic than that. Let's see here. Graphics is also in Rhode Island. Yeah, we've got our Gothic, sorry, is also. I need to adjust my bifocals a little bit more, I think it's safe to say. Yeah, we're just doing it, guys. We're doing it bit by bit. Let's see who we've got here. It's a knock at the door. I feel like Mr. Rogers. There's the man. How are you doing, boss? Good to see you.
I'm good, brother. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man. We're just taking part and having fun and seeing what's up. So you are a fellow Rhode Islander. I was just talking with Jeremy, Lord Crackhead 33, yes, the other night, and he was saying there's a convention in August that Bisley's going to be at, and that we should all meet up there. What do you think?
I think that sounds like an awesome idea. I got some stuff I would like for Bisley's, signature to bless. So I think that's a great idea.
That is right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, if you could look up worst cities in Rhode Island and compile a list or find one, I'm amongst somewhere on that list. So
is that right? Hey, what's up, Lake Kick One? Good to see you. Yeah, we've got some great people in the chat here, and all your wonderful fans here as well. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. When people talk about what's possible in Comicsgate and the range that we have, I look at the books that we're putting out right now, and I think that we've got any indie scene beat in terms of how cool this stuff is. People see your book and they go, I want to see an animated feature. I blame the dying days of YouTube for that. But it's people see it and it just comes to life. So here's a question I have for you.
Yeah.
You were talking about Bisley's work and liking that stuff. Where did your comic book, journey sort of start? Like when you were like collecting, was it in the 90s? Was it Image Comic stuff? Was it after that? Was it?
I think it was, I got exposed to it way beforehand when I was young, but grew up in a certain way. So it's not like it was super affordable and I couldn't come across them so much. So it was always like kind of cheap stuff. But the first one was, I mentioned this before and I still haven't looked up on it, but it was, so I think it was a Marvel comic and some sort of like off-brand X-Men group maybe. And one of them was a kid in a wheelchair and he had like a red jumpsuit on or something like that. And it was that one in an old school X-Men comic where it was like Cyclops was still in the scuba suit. And yeah, and it was Colossus and Nightcrawler that kind of just like blew my mind, like as like characters. I was like, this is different, and I came across that as a young kid, and then eventually came across Ninja Turtle comics, and that blew my mind. I found out they were comics, and so it was always there. Like the seeds were kind of planted, and then there was just long gaps in between. And then it was when I came across Bisley's art in one of the Lobos. I forgot which one it was. I was talking about this on Phil's channel the other day, but it was a certain couple pages that blew my mind as a kid because I didn't think you could do that with art or be that like graphic or violent or as imaginative or cool. And then that just kind of just triggered the senses and just got me addicted. And then from there on, you know, throughout the years, you kind of just start planting different like ideas, and then you just start kind of building it up from there, and it just never stopped till here we are.
Yeah, and we've got some questions rolling in for you. Let's see. Gadget Island is supposed to be Cyberpunk Rhode Island. That's a question.
No, more like landfill, Rhode Island, with just a bunch of punks. More like slime, like Slimer punk instead of cyberpunk. You know.
There you go, man. You see, you're that's the thing too when you're talking about genres and things like that. When someone says like, "Have you seen Simon Bisley's work? How would you describe it?" It's like Simon Bisley.
Yeah.
And when I think about your work, it's the same thing. It's Rich Ayala's work. It's got such a singular voice to it, man. What about animation? What kind of animation were you into when you were coming up?
All the Rebel cartoon stuff, Nickelodeon, the type of edgier type of comic cartoons, you know, the stuff that you grow older and then you rewatch it and you're like, oh, that wasn't really for kids. And,
Yeah.
yeah. And then after that, it was definitely like the late night cartoons, the jacked up stuff, you know, like Liquid Television.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like other stuff that I can just like vaguely remember, and but it's there, and it kind of just influenced the whole style and the kind of like aesthetics that I really like in this whole comic, and I was like trying to get across.
Well, this is the thing too, right? So I don't know if you were a fan of this stuff. I was talking about who was I talking about it with the other day? Oh my gosh, I've had my brain is completely blurred out at this point. 3 crashes later, with Wi-Fi. But this is the thing, man. It's I was talking with somebody about back in the day, the Ren and Stimpy show. I don't know if you watched that show, if you were a fan of that show. But there's 2 guys who worked on the backgrounds and those crazy detailed close-ups, Bill Ray and Dan Kroll, who I didn't find out about till later. Have you ever seen their stuff and checked out their stuff?
Not anything beyond Ren and Stimpy. Did one of them get into comics? Because I have a couple of random issues I found at a flea market, and it was like that Ren and Stimpy style. And I believe one of them was an animator or somebody that worked on the show. And just
was it John Kay's stuff? Because I know his stuff with God. What is someone's going to get it in the chat for me?
Like Dark Horse, like some type of short story.
Yeah, John Kay did a bunch of stuff. I think of comics. I think was it Spumco? I think it was that he did.
Yeah,
all of this stuff.
Familiar anyways.
But there's a rawness to your work and the way that you put the stuff together that reminds me of the painterly style that they would bring, that Bisley has, that they would bring to the backgrounds. And when you see it animated, it's just, you talked about Liquid Television.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level that stuff looks like when it's animated, man.
Yeah.
As a comic, it's fantastic. I think that's why people are so into it. So how's the campaign been going?
Campaign's been awesome. Like I didn't even think it was going to be animated like that to begin with. And then, Dying Days of YouTube, go sub to him if you haven't yet. You've seen what he did. He did a dope trailer for, Nosfero. So it was like, I don't know, the guy's magic,
amazing.
So like, I didn't think it could get to that level. So when he did that, it was like, it surprised me. But so I was going at the whole art under with the impression of trying to do that without animation. So then after I just got lucky enough to come across with Dying Days of YouTube, and he brought it to that sick ass level. So I'm pretty I don't know. I got sidetracked. So I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did answer my question. But this is the thing I want to say too about it is when you talk about luck, and I do love that definition of luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And I think that you have been preparing for this book. You have been promoting it hard. You've been in the truest sense of like, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a massive fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, going back to those early trade paperbacks and buying those little die-cast metal, lead, not die-cast metal. They were lead little toys that you could get. I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so everything was so far away. Getting out to a comic shop, it was like a very rural, area. And I'm just looking at my Wi-Fi going up and down and like praying, we'll see how this goes. But it's one of those things to where it was out in the middle of nowhere. And when I saw that stuff and I saw that work, they did it this way to where they were like, we're doing this book called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They started out with their the indie stuff they did for, what was it called? Scat, I think it was, magazine, which is how they met. He was doing this independent book. So I'm very, very passionate about cool artists coming in and saying, this is what comics can be. We can do anything. And you're one of those for me, man. And I dig what you're doing. And for those of you guys who haven't seen it, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, because you've got the hardest working man in show business here, this is the campaign we're talking about. This is the beautiful work. This work has got soul and voice and everything you want to see happen in a comic book. It transports you when you see the visuals. And, you know, it's I can't tell you how excited I am about the book. And to know that so many of us, look, you know, New England's a small area. This little quadrant is a small area. The fact that we're doing what we're doing is and having the impact we're having is huge. You know, it's amazing to see. You know, hang on one quick second here. And you talk about the book. Hold that. You keep talking. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys are into villains, you know, so or that type of mindset where it's like you kind of just remove the hero or the type of positive aspect of like comic books and shit, and then you just got a down and grimy, outright despicable character, you know, and instead of like kind of went a different way with inspiration behind Sully, and instead of just attributing him with all these like righteous attributes or qualifications, I very much gave him like really foul ones, you know, stuff that I don't like in people, or you know, really rough and tumble, or like questionable people you come across maybe even in the streets. And that's very much this type of guy. So, and as funny as it is, like I love this character. So, and I did have a lot of fun making this book, and that's what I'm trying to relay to everybody. So if you ever got that weird feeling where you picked up or came across any of these weird cartoons we just mentioned, or a cool comic book that kind of like shifted your visual paradigm, then I'm hoping to kind of achieve that for you guys. So like, I don't know if anybody's a Wu-Tang fan out there, but if you picked up the 36 Chambers the first time, that was pretty wild feeling. You're like, oh crap, this is different. You know, nothing after that, just, you know, even Wu-Tang kind of fell off, but even nothing after that could hit that level, you know, and certain books and certain magazines and times in media did the same thing. So I'm hoping this kind of brings back a certain nostalgia to you guys, you know, everybody out there.
Yeah, you said it well. I mean, sometimes when people come out with an initial work, it's a phenomenon. It just goes beyond the work itself. And those kinds of things can't be repeated. They can't be forced. But if you were there when it happened and it meant something to you, you get it. And I think that I've said this before. I think that people are going to be looking at Comicsgate and what we're doing here in CG and say that, you know, years going forward. Like if you were there during that time, they're going to be rattling off creators' names. You know, and that's what I think about when I'm working on Nosfero, when I'm doing this pinup for, you know, Phil and Zaid Comics right now. It's just creativity. By the way, I just want to point this out here. And guys, make sure you back this campaign. If the link is not in the chat yet, let's get this link in the chat. But I always love to show this when I've got this painting on my desk and my head is positioned like this. There's something beautiful about me when my head lines up just right with the painting. So this is, it can be a distracting process of working on it. Now I look up and I go, who is that? Oh no. But awesome. this is the thing about it, guys. I want to play the trailer if I may, and let me know if the audio comes through. God help us all. Let me know if the audio comes through here, and I'm going to hit play on this. So here you
go. No audio.
No audio. Oh, hang on. That's on me. No, we're going back. That's on me. Here you go. Let me know if you can hear it now.
Yep.
Got it.
Welcome to Cat Shit Island. A toxic, radioactive nightmare. To survive the freaks, beasts, and gangs. Balls.
Dreaming, love it, touch it, clutch it, shoot it, smoke it, snort it, fuck it, I be on another level. Call of Duty, took that metal, they so fruity, call it pebble, make it bubble like a kettle. I'm so dope, I be illegal, people bring it back, they call it sequel, treat it right, I be so equal. I'm so fly, I be like eagle, just so that they say I'm regal, so me that they say I'm evil. Walk around like I don't see them.
Rich Ayala's Roach Balls. Back it today on Indiegogo. Sully Cucaracha is one roach you can't stamp out.
Yeah, man, trailers really hype your whole your whole scheme up, your whole shit up. Trailers
What
can really
more do people need to see at this point? I ask you, America, what more do you need to see after that trailer? I mean, this is the thing. These things don't just, well, they do seem to just happen, but when you're talking about a phenomenon, all of these crazy, creative, brilliant people coming together and making great comics to fill a need to make art is huge. And we've got another guest here in the back. What the heck is going on this Sunday morning? It's supposed to be calm, cool, and collected.
It's church.
The thing is, and we're gonna crash as soon as the show gets hopping, and we won't come back because I'm just going to be on the sofa drinking log cabin syrup. That's just how it is. All right, here we go. There we go. There's the man. How are you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Good. Hi, Rich. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Very good. Very good.
Awesome.
That
How's he doing this fine day?
Roach Balls is insane. It's just, oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Shanti, it's what you're saying and all this stuff. It's like, it's just creative, flow of all kinds of, things now. It's incredible. It's fun. It's heck. Yep. Everything's so different. My stuff will be different than someone else's, and it just completely different sort of things are happening. Everyone's doing what they always wanted to do, which is incredible.
Isn't that something? Isn't that something? We're on a couple of continents, a lot of different countries, and we're getting together because we love comics, and we're doing it without permission, And I had what I always used to say to my studio mate is we'd always harass each other when we were creatively kind of saying, I don't know if I can do that. And I would go, sí, pero no tengo permiso, and make a little pouty face at him. And then we started looking at each other and we were like, tengo permiso. Like I was saying, we were just like, I have permission, and it's like, I look at this stuff and it's like, I think that's my Puerto Rican. That's my Camacho fourth that I've got going on. And I look at that stuff and I always say, we got to have permission to do this stuff. We do have permission to do the work that we want to do. And that permission is coming from, or I should say, that freedom to do so. And that permission we're giving ourselves is coming from this amazing group of people we have here in Comicsgate. And, when people who try to pigeonhole us and say, oh, it's just nostalgia for, 90s comics, or it's just this. No, it's nostalgia for the art form when it's great. But it also goes to animation. It goes to movies. I mean, if you ever catch, I don't know, Rich, if you've ever seen Dan and I attempt to do a short stream together, it doesn't work. Yeah. we just keep talking about art until 2 or 3.
I know. Once you get going, it's like, because we're all so separated. That's the thing. In the past, it's like, there's not that many of us. So you're so far away. Now you're getting everybody from the planet.
Instantaneously,
kind of. All of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of people. It's really, really inspirational.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Rich, did you ever see that movie Confidential?
No.
Confidential. Because when I was a young man, that the underground comic book scene was pretty hot.
It was a documentary about the Yes. Okay, I did see that. About the underground.
I actually went to the theater to see that movie. Yeah. I could see that documentary. But that was, things were just going nuts. And then it all went away. It seemed like, it felt like anyways. Yeah. And now here's an avenue for things like this to come back. And they're just, you just go crazy with it. It's fun as heck,
I think it's like crazy too, because not only are we on an amazing network where there's like a cornucopia of different styles and different approaches and professional people, and then like a bunch of people with that, not younger, but that newer thirst to like hop in and try to do something. And so you got all that, but on top of that, I think what's also crazy is that for the longest time, whether it's in music or it's in movies or it's in comics now, they've been trying to like anchor stuff down and ground it so hard down to like trying to make it as realistic as possible with these like out of like world like concepts and ideas. Like look at X-Men and all these like movies now trying to like, even with the computer graphics, like you do crazy stuff, but they're just trying to like narrow it down and ground it and anchor it as much as possible. Even with music. So say like back in the days with hip hop, like you had a lot of MCs that would approach things very stylistically. So even their lyrics would be like comparing themselves to like, and it'd be so exaggerated and it'd be cool. you're like, oh, it would force you to think or have images in your head that were like a little outside of the norm. And now like a lot of hip hop and music is just really geared down to making things very realistic. Like, well, look what I can get. Look at all the stuff I can get with money, or look at how many people, you know, I philandered with. Look at all these holes I got. Look at all the realistic stuff I have. And there's no more like, you know, I'll knock you to the moon and, you know, say some crazy stuff like that, where it's causing these crazy visuals to pop up and snap in your head. So,
well,
I think
what was it they said about but when you said that, you struck a nerve with me, because that's absolutely true. I think it was C.S. Lewis who once said that the modern philosopher's goal in life is to take out his own eyeball so that he can study himself and stop looking at life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's you're right. It's suddenly that is the problem with a lot of fine arts. Like, does roach balls come from, like, you know, your creative soul and your spirit? Yes. Is it you staring at yourself in some narcissistic fashion? No, not at all. It's you have to feel it. You can't, you know, of all the things and the characters and the ideas that I look at and I go, man, if I ever had to do a pinup for that'd be tricky. It's yours. And the funny thing about it is, when I think about how would I do it if I had to do a pinup for that book, I go, I'd need a big canvas.
Oh, wow.
Does that make sense? Like, I need a big canvas. I'd need to be painting with my arm, and I'd need a flat brush. I don't know. Does that make sense?
You know, Shant, thing you said about just that giving yourself permission, it's like giving yourself permission to have fun.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you can wait. I can actually have fun. Yeah, you can actually have fun. You know, this roach balls, obviously, you just had a blast. You know, just like go nuts.
That's
just, you know, you took it. You did what you like to do, and just gave yourself permission to do the ultimate, you know, underground comic book. But that's kind of wild, you know.
The thing is, like, what Tashant was saying, like, I'm not on your level of artistry. Like, what you do is next level. That's like, that's you putting stuff out. So that's what I try to do with, or I'm doing with roach balls. Is not like you said, ripping the eyes out and looking at self. It's no, me just taking all the influences, all the inspirations, and all the recipes and all that shit, and making my own stew and serving it out, instead of just like self-inserting my bullshit and everything else, you know. And you got Shant, who's doing the same exact thing, but I feel like you're so much more seasoned. You're like much more of a chef, because your work is just next level shit. So when you say that you would need like a bigger canvas, and my little cartoon doodle of roach balls would be kind of tough, somewhat of a tough approach, is like crazy. So I can't understand that from like your perspective, because you got that.
But this is the thing, right? It's like this. Well, okay, think about this. Okay. I guess the best way I could think about it, just because I want to make sure I explain it, because it is a very specific thing, right? It's, think about it like ring size. Do you know what I mean? Like, right. If for me, it's like roach balls is something that if I'm in a small ring with roach balls, it's going to knock me out. I want a bigger ring so I can move. I'm going to need to move my arm around the canvas, and I'm going to need to put energy into it, and I'm going to have to get out of my fingertips, because when you've got something with that level of kinetic energy, it's you have to paint it with that same energy. And I always try to paint with energy, but it's like, let's see if I can explain this to you. And when you were talking about where people are art-wise, that's not so, I mean, I don't ever think in those kinds of terms. Like, I know what I like and I know what I react to. Mm-hmm. But if you look at, let me zoom out here. Hang on. Zoom out means move the camera, by the way. For anybody wondering, that's my high-tech zoom. But when you see this, right, what's happening in here compositionally and with the form, if I turn this upside down and you're not looking at it for objects, that's what I see compositionally, that sense of play when I look at your work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I could see what you're saying. All right.
And it's like you recognize where people are thinking, like, this is the weirdest language in the world, what we do.
Yeah.
Comics is weird. And it's put that on my tombstone. Comics is weird. His last words, but it is. It is.
Yeah,
it is. It's this crazy magical thing. So like when I'm sketching and I'm doing a layout, and here's some of my layouts. Just so I'm going to try to make sure this makes any kind of sense. These are what my layouts look like. This is gel pen.
Those are art in themselves, man. That's cool.
It's about that. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? It's about that chaos. Everything's got to start with that, or it doesn't live. Yep. You know, it doesn't live. And no, I don't still box. Let me tell you. And I only just hit pads and worked on combinations. which, by the way, it is great for your shoulders. Let me tell you something. Boxing, if you've got bad shoulders, it's awesome. Hitting the speed bag and all that stuff. And it's great for cardio too. But
Yeah, I got a heavy bag a few years back and stuff, and it's really great for like when you're drawing too long and you just got to get the blood flowing and all that stuff. You hit that for 2 minutes and you're just feeling good.
Absolutely.
So
it's a must. I got my punching bag right over there. So like if you're at the table too long, you hit your little routine of like simple stretches, and then you're feeling a certain way, whether it's good mood or bad mood, you just take it all in that thing. And
plus it gives you confidence. If you ever get in a fight with a guy with no arms and legs, you know you're going to win the fight.
Right. You know you're
like I'm confident now I can take anybody with no arms and legs.
Yeah.
But you got to remember this though too. Even if you win, it's going to be totally frowned upon. That's the victory you don't want to celebrate. Wait, and you broke.
I have the confidence now. That's what I like.
Like,
a bit of a one-sided fight, a little bit.
That's right. Well, I like when we talk about how people express themselves, and I love boxing for this reason, and I love boxers for this reason. But when I hear Mike Tyson, at this stage of his life where he's talking about where he is spiritually and how he, talks to younger fighters and talks about that kind of thing. There's one of the quotes that he always says that Customato told him all the time was that discipline is doing something you don't want to do like you love it. Now, between stream crashes, and this will be the final one if my Wi-Fi goes out, let everyone know that. I'm putting all of you on notice. I'm speaking in tongues, weaving a tapestry of profanity, as they say in the Christmas story. But I'm going to go back until like it's unreasonable at this point. Like I just have to keep going back because discipline is what's at the heart of it. And to me, what makes an artist is the commitment to improvement, putting their heart and soul into it, and then the discipline, because comics is all, this, Dan, it's like, it's all I know. Both of you guys know this. I know we know this, but Dan works in advertising as well, right?
Oh yeah.
Doing that kind of work. And then you come home and you're doing comics and you're hitting deadlines all across the board.
I'm always got,
yeah, it's I see you at 4 in the morning, and Rich is the same way. Rich is like imagining worlds and putting them to paper and promoting it. And the great thing about comics is the same thing this is what I love about comics. If it's not being gate kept, it's the same thing as boxing. It's the same Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Your pedigree does not matter when you get in the squared circle. It does not matter.
I never finished my degree in art school. I was at art school. I just like, as soon as I got a job in Marvel, just like, that's it. Because it doesn't mean anything. Your degree doesn't mean anything unless you want to teach like you or something like that. Then you have to kind of have a degree, I think. But as far as getting a job, no, your portfolio is your degree.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking on that, I remember something very specific in my youth was when after all the years of thinking and contemplating and building up this like some sort of world or knowing that I wanted to do comics and my whole art style just revolved around it, was that if I needed like an academic background, because school and all that shit was not my, strength, wasn't my forte. So I remember calling up Marvel Studios and got the secretary or somebody in the front desk and asked, I was like, is it necessary to have an academic background or anything of the sort to, because I didn't have a computer at the time, so I couldn't just look this shit up, to be into comics and make, books and whatnot. And the person, it was a lady, she was like, no, not at all. And then it just blew my mind. I was like, wow. And then it kind of just shifted. I was like, I don't need school to be an artist. You just got to do the work. That's it. Study and approach stuff like you are in school and break it down. And school does help. I'm pretty sure, and all that. But
No, listen,
I
for
taught
certain skills like learning Photoshop or stuff like that. I mean, that's
Rich will know this.
Right.
I taught for 15 years at Rhode Island School of Design. Okay.
Yeah.
You absolutely do not need it. And at this particular point in time, with all of the politics being shoved into everything, I would say it's a hindrance. Mm-hmm. What you need, and the biggest secret in the world that people don't want people to know, is that, and I can look at, I went through that New York Times anonymous tax records of what people with visual arts, well, actually college degrees from everywhere are making by age 31, which was what they did the test for. That's backed up by statistics. That's backed up by hard facts of what goes into it. But let's put all that stuff to one side. You can't, this field is about discipline freedom, thinking about things the way that you need to. And yes, it's about skill, but like any craft, excuse me, it's possible to learn it by meeting peers and being mentored. And my best knowledge from comics came from my comic book mentors. And so what I've been saying, I don't know if you feel this way, Rich, but until I was, in CG and around CG, I felt like I was starved for fellow artists to talk shop with. Starved.
Oh my gosh! Back in the day when I was starting out in comics, 1987, you're completely alone. Not I'm still at home, and when I started out in a basement, and it's just you just go kind of cuckoo, just like you go nuts. You need people, and this is, like I said, this is the most people I've ever met, and it's like a comic book convention every day.
Yep.
Really
it is. I share both those sentiments exactly with you, brothers, because when I first started strapping it down and really getting this lockdown during the lockdown on this project, I was looking for something along the line of, a community, something to talk to people. But I just started off watching interviews and draw streams. And then eventually, how that happens, one rabbit hole after the other. And then you're just in it, and you guys know, and you're just meeting all these different types of people. And you're like, holy shit. And there was a bunch of not me's, but there was a bunch of like-minded me's just chilling here the whole time. And if you're smart, you know how to pick up jewels when people drop them, then, you'll become friends with the right people, and you can learn a lot.
Hey, Rich, I'm kind of curious just about your creative process. Something like that's so wild. All this stuff's going on. What is your process? Do you think it in your mind first? A lot of people have this vision, it pops in the head, or do you start scribbling on a piece of paper and watch it unfold? That's more what I do. I kind of start to scribble, and I draw a gesture drawing and a figure, and sort of come to life. That I do small, sketches. Is your kind of a full blown vision, or is it something kooky you want to just say, or crazy idea?
Of all of it, honestly. Like the whole comic is mixed media, so I think my whole style and I guess my whole mindset revolves around that. Like Shant was just talking about boxing, and not to be that person, but I picked up years ago the Bruce Lee books on his theory. Right. And it's not only his fighting style, but his whole philosophy. And a lot of it's based on art. It is. A lot of it is based on art and just applying on the go, not just sticking to one routine all the time, because that's just not how shit happens,
And he was an entertainer too. I mean, that's it was a show business. So that's what some of the stuff is. It is show business of sorts.
Yep. And he was an awesome artist. The way he had breakdowns, the way he drew his the fighting style. When he came up with Jeet Kune Do, he would draw his figures in motion trying to fight, and applying all that. So if he wanted to, I bet if he was still alive, he could have if he was practicing on that, he could have drew a decent comic book and all the sequential art. So
why did you have to put that in my head, man?
Right? It's
now
crazy.
I feel like I've had something stolen from me I never had, which I want that. And so the chat might erupt on me if I don't ask about the saucers behind you and that poster. People are like, can I get that online? What is that? Where did I get that? So
yeah, it's like a blanket. It's a tapestry. I forgot what, but there is some sort of tapestry, a blanket thing you can find.
Blow it up
on Instagram.
Oh yeah. Let me blow it up here. Hang on a second here.
Yeah.
Suddenly Sean disappeared.
Rich is about to get big.
Let me see here. Hold on a second here. Let me get my old self in gear here. There we go.
Yeah. So
there it is.
Yeah. I like looking up all that crazy shit. I have been for mad years. Not so much recently, because this has just been taking a lot
of
consuming. But, I do have a firm interest in that stuff. So this is just a blanket depicting some of the earlier sightings in the 60s or 50s, 60s, and 70s, all across the world. So,
hey, wouldn't that make a great dinner plate set?
That would be. That'd be pretty cool.
Your saucers. Oh, you reveal it. Alien. You put it on the table, and you reveal the alien food underneath.
Yeah.
Can I just say this too? My son and I have no interest in flying saucers or aliens of any sort, and I am insulted that anyone might insinuate that we do and watch a lot of that stuff. There we go. No, it's my son's gonna be seeing this and go, oh yeah. Let's check this stuff out.
Topic,
I remember when I was a kid, we had, you go to the library, and you would always check out the dinosaur books, the flying saucer books, Guinness Book of World Records. nothing intellectual or studious, just all the cool fun stuff.
Was it National Enquirer? I love those as a kid, coming across them. Those freak me out.
Wait, which ones?
The National Enquirer, the
magazine. Oh yeah,
crazy stuff in it.
Yeah.
Grocery
and,
store, man. That's where it is. Yeah, I would see it. I'd go whatever it was called in Chattanooga, whatever our grocery store was. I forget. We had the off brands. But yeah, man, I remember seeing that stuff. And I'm actually kind of disappointed in them because, and come to think of it, maybe this is a Comicsgate idea. With our digital skills, we could be making the best kayfabe National Enquirer in the world. It would be epic. Like, think of what we could do, guys. This is a place of possibilities. I mean, we've been talking about Terror in the Trenches because it's got 14 hours left. We're talking about Roach Balls. We're talking about Two-Fisted Manly Tales and my own comic book, which you guys know about, Nosfero, the Crypt Walker, which is based on my love of all things Halloween, which I just love Halloween and monsters and all that great stuff. And, of course, this right here, which is the CG Vacation book that the Diaz brothers, Zaid Comics, is doing.
Yeah, I got a couple of pieces in that book, too.
You better.
Yeah,
because I'm backing it, so I want to see. I want to see it. But think about this, guys. Comicsgate is one big what if. If you've got the skill and you've got the discipline to put something out there, we are going to make it happen. We are going to make beautiful, cool stuff. And yeah, we've got Alien Alamo, so we've clearly got our passions for all of this kind of stuff. But when you were talking about National Enquirer, my brain thinks about that all the time. Like, what would I do if I was making a legit, fully stay in character National Enquirer, but really doing some stuff where there was a story and some lore? That's the kind of thing we can do, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really solid idea.
The Weekly I can show you.
Vampire Baby scared me to death, guys.
I can show you part of my. I can show you
that boy.
You guys, I can show you part of my swimsuit issue, one of the issues. The one that because they did show this online, so I can they did. I can't show the whole thing, but I can show you one of the secondary characters.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm game. I mean, Rich, how do you feel about it? Should we kick Dan? I don't know. What are we?
No, I mean, I'm not a fan of looking at art or anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is
I have to crop it though. Just for.
Oh, I hope it uncrops when you try to share it. That would be the best.
No, I made a second copy and cropped it. It's impossible. So
that's right. It's impossible for this to happen. He said.
I got to make it all dummy proof because there's no way I can do it right.
Shoot, if it wasn't for dummy proof, I wouldn't have any proof at all, man. I'm like, that's all I've got, man. It's like I have to protect myself at all times. Let's see here. What kind of group does Dan think this is anyway? Yeah. My grandson. Oh, geez. Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness gracious! You guys are giving me stuff in the chat. It's like the hair-raising chat. What kind of group does Dan think this is? There you go. Excellent people are keeping it. Oh, there it is. Hold on a second, guys. Are you ready? Brace yourselves, or as Doc Holliday would say, "Cover your ears, darling." Boom. There you go. This is what we do in Comicsgate, folks.
So she is, she's a nice gal,
She's just trying to put herself through college.
So there's a lot more to this image. She's a secondary character in the image.
I know. I've seen the image, man.
Oh, okay.
I know what it is.
That's
I know what it
bring
is.
Home to mom for sure.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. You know what? I got a cover revealed tomorrow for the Two-Fisted Manly Tales. I got a variant cover,
Oh.
So I can't show that one. I could show part of it though. I don't know if I get in trouble for that.
Graham is a very large man. Can we all establish that? Graham Nolan. I don't want Graham to show up in Rhode Island.
No, he's not that big. He looks like a huge guy, but he's only my height. He's only 5'9".
Damn, man, you just call him out like that publicly. Now he's really gonna come down.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say.
And now
it's not his height I'm worried about. It's the fact that his bicep is bigger around than my waist. I don't even take care of myself.
He's got the triangle.
I wear a crisp.
I got the regular pyramid. He's got the upside down pyramid.
That's right.
His body.
I can tell you this, guys. I've tried this out. America does not run on Duncan. It kind of lumbers, occasionally sits down and rests. And gets a little bit wheezy, but I do love my Duncan.
All right, I'm gonna show part of this image. I got it cropped. Ready?
Oh man, Graham's watching this. We're gonna get this. Oh man.
Oh snap!
Look at that.
Sick.
So it's gonna be kind of fun. But I only had a couple days to do this too. I had 3 days, man. So I'm pretty happy with the results because you don't know when you're doing this stuff. It's like every time I do it, I do one of these. I'm like, oh, it looks like crap, and then all of a sudden it comes together. Hey, it doesn't suck, and it looks good. So
yeah, it looks awesome. There's some
What
power
are we
behind
gonna
that.
do with this man, Rich? What are we gonna do with Dan? Dan's like every now and again.
I feel like
make
I
something
gotta take this
amazing.
off the screen. I'm in
It's
trouble.
like, yeah, Dan. That's how it works for all of us, man. It's yeah. I will tell you this, guys. It is, if you were ever missing in your life, where are the comics? Where are the things that we want to see? Do you know what I mean? The things that we want to see and the work that we're making is all about creativity and play. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to see, the same thing. I don't want to see what I do in the work that I buy. I want to see stuff that inspires me and shows me another side, another part of the elephant, as they say, and kind of look at it and just go, wow, this is so cool. Like I want to read this. I don't want to do this. Do you get what I mean? That's what entertainment is.
Yeah.
Someone said to me one time,
I would never want to master everyone else's skill set. I might be able to do it, but I don't want to, because then I can't be a fan anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because I don't really want, it's a strange
how many
feeling,
doctors do you reckon came home off of ER doctors came home off of their shift and watched the TV show ER? I'd imagine it's not many. Like nobody goes home and wants to look at work. And the hardest thing for me about comics is it is both an art form I'm passionate about as a fan and I'm passionate about as a creator. But the stuff I read as a fan is the stuff that inspires me and lifts me up, so that when I go to create, it's the stuff that takes me out and away from what I already do. Because I love what I do when I'm doing it, but rest and relax. Like I don't go, when I feel lonely, I don't go and stand in front of a mirror, because that'd be weird. You know what I mean? It's just not how we operate. I watch boxing to unwind. That's someone else's craft.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that I love to watch a lot of art stuff. I know a lot of fighters like to watch fights. It's not that unusual, but it's one of those things to where I want to be looking at stuff that's like very different, but feeds what I do.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys do for me, man. When I see your stuff, it's like, I know what I can do. I know what my skill set is. You know this, Dan. It's like, and you're ahead of me even on this, but 45 years later, this is what I've got. And I've been working every one of those 45 years, loved holding a pencil. And it's not something anybody gave me at school. That's not like I was on this course because I couldn't stop. That's how simple it is.
Yeah.
And for all of us, especially, when I was talking with Von Klaus, who's got, I think about 12 or so hours left, there's going to be a closeout stream on Michael Bancroft's channel for Terror in the Trenches. He's 43. He's 2 years younger than me. And he was saying, this is my dream, man. This was my dream project. This is my dream, to be able to do this work. We do not quit, and Dan, you were saying that about why you're doing comics right now. Comicsgate opened the door for your passion in a way that you have not seen.
Yeah. And also I can do the quality that I want before.
Yeah.
You can't do a good comic book in a month. It just takes too long. It takes longer than that for me anyways. Not the kind of comics I want to do. So now finally there's a possibility here, and I'm interested again.
Yeah,
absolutely. I left because I needed to raise my family, needed money. I mean, you can't survive it, a couple $100 a week, like it just doesn't work, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is too. You look at this stuff, and I was saying, when I was working on this pinup, when I was working on this piece, the thing about it is I love pulp. I love old style pinups and all that stuff. And I'm going to look to Gil Elfgren. I'm going to look to those artists, but then I'm going to look to what I do in modern pulp, because it's a modern audience with modern sensibility. I'm still a fantasy artist. I don't think Gil Elfgren, he could probably do it, and I'd pay to see it, just like Bruce Lee's comic. Thank you, Rich, for ruining and inspiring my day. It's complicated, man.
No problem.
But Rhode Island is all love. That's all there's to it, man. Is that
Rhode Islander,
Yeah. No, Rhode Island. I love Rhode Island. Here's what happens when you move to Rhode Island. Rhode Islanders say the same thing to everybody. Just like Massachusetts people say the same thing to Rhode Islanders, but it's like they go, why would you want to move to Rhode Island? And I would always look at them and I would go, what do you think the rest of the world is like? Did you think Rhode Island is like rock bottom? Rhode Island isn't funny that way. And then Massachusetts people always say to us whenever I was at a garage trying to get my car repaired because I had a flat, and they go, "Oh, you're from Rhode Island. Come to visit a real state."
Yeah, it's weird.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I went to Rhode Island once. I thought it was a pretty charming place.
Well, you know, Rhode Islanders, we're very hard on ourselves. We work hard, and we're hard on ourselves and hard on our state. We're hard on our town. Every town you go to in Rhode Island, people go, "This is the worst town in Rhode Island." It's really funny. Except for the towns you don't want to go to.
Your best friends are the ones you talk the most shit to. It's
yeah, exactly. It's totally true, man. It's close. And seeing everybody who's up in New England, we got some people who are Mainers here too, like way off in the Arctic, that is Maine, who we're all talking about getting together at a convention in Boston at some point. So I hope we get to do that this August. Jay Lee in the chat. In truth, I was always an artist, but breaking my hand and losing my mother, depression hit. And a doctor talked me into taking up writing. And in the end, the Steins were born. Yeah, and the Steins are on my bookshelf directly in front of me. I've got them with all of my great horror books that I love. For those of you guys who don't know, Jay Lee is an author and a friend of the chat, friend of the channel, friend of Comicsgate. And his book is available, I think, on Amazon still. I bought one of the last couple copies that were there. But Jay Lee, let us know where it is in this world to get it. Admiral, enjoy them while you can. I guess we're going, okay, let's see. Gramps is passing in the next couple of months now at 96, and he's just glad he outlived Castro. There you go. Listen, if I had a nickel for every person I've heard that from, particularly in the Florida area, my friends there, man. Everybody's
96.
Like
wow, man.
Yeah, 96. Congratulations.
Holy smokes.
I'll tell you what. And I'm glad to see it. Sitting around licking your wounds can really be a downfall. It can be. Yeah. And when you've got people who inspire you as an artist, and in this crew that we have, yes, they are still on Amazon. Excellent. When you've got people who are doing stuff like Terror in the Trenches, Rich Isla's Roach Balls, Two-Fisted Manly Tales, and an as yet unnamed project from Dan Lawless in the future, which I'm sure will be there. I actually was telling people the other day that, when I was doing actually, I think I was working on this the other day on my stream, but this is a page. Sorry, the next page I'm going to be working on. Well, I'm already working on it for Nosfero, and my wife is so funny because she knows my stuff now. A lot of this is her fault because she goes, "Do one your way, do a comic like you want to." She goes, "Okay, so this character's got these kind of mummy wrap horns that are going to come up like this." And she goes, "So here and here, are those going to be panels?" And I'm like, "Yep." On either side of that, I'm making comic panels. Because, guys, we can do this stuff. We can do anything we want to do here because we've got the support of fans and backers who back our books. It's one thing to hit that. Thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel, by the way. It's one thing to hit that like button to subscribe and share the links out, which is all huge. But it is huge. But it's another thing for you guys to say, we are your investors. We're investing in the book so you can go full tilt creative. And when I see Two-Fisted Manly Tales, when I see Roach Balls, that is sort of the promise being kept on the other side. That is the contract you have. Go full tilt.
Hey,
and
how big is Roach Ball art? How big?
It's 9 by 12, and it's also going to be printed that size. So the books are that size.
Oh, okay.
Some mock-ups right here.
Yeah, hold on. Let me make it big. Wait. There you go.
Yeah. So it's drawn this size, and I figured I didn't want to shrink it. I like the whole old school.
It's like a children's book gone wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah. So 9 by 12, perfect bound. Got nice little creamy off-white colors for the panels.
Nice.
The borders, the gutters.
Yeah.
You know what's cool about that? That almost gives it that old feel, like a comic book feel.
Yep. Especially with
Is that what you went for? Is that what you're thinking?
I wanted to look like that. So this copy I sent in, I messed up because these were just print runs, not the print runs, but test runs. So the files I sent in were JPEG, so the resolution's a little low, but it still came out good, and it gave you that look and that feel that it wanted it to. So when I send in the cleaner, crisper files, it's just going to look all the much better, but still have that, retain that cool feeling.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm amazed at how many properties are being created. These interesting things like the Truth, Justice, American Way. Those are like iconic characters being created. And then we got the underground stuff here. Rich, it's like that's another possible, like, you know, the Homer Simpson, all that kind of crazy underground comics that made it into the animation.
Yeah,
you know, all this stuff can be happening now. We're watching it happen. It's really cool. You know?
It is. Yeah, it is. And you know, it's the reason why it's so important for us to be able to be in these spaces where we can talk about our work and share our stuff is because the people who are looking for us and trying to find us, it's not an easy task to wade through all this stuff, but it's easier when we're out there. I think that's why that mail-in method is so important. You know, just start streaming, start a YouTube channel, get going. You know, that's the biggest thing. I was not, and you guys can go back and see the stream. I think it's one of my favorite thumbnails ever of John Malin was in my chat, and he said him and Rob, and he goes, Rob was saying, "What can you get guests on? Have you figured that out yet?" And I go, "I haven't figured that out yet." And John's like, "There's no time like now. Rob, get in there." And Rob Arnold was like, okay. And then he was having trouble, you know, getting in there and stream. I said, "John, I'm sending you a link too." John was in here, told me he hated the interface of Ecamm, which I was using, and said, "Get on StreamYards." And 24 hours later, I was on StreamYard and figuring out the camera stuff and getting all of this stuff sorted. And as you can see, I now only crash 2 times when I'm, anyway, the point is this, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, this is, look, guys, don't, that's a painful, that cuts deep. That's a painful nickname. Come on, people. We can't, that the coach is hurting right now.
Yeah, they're just kicking things down.
Exactly. I mean, that's what Comic Skate is. It's kind of like, you know, I could help you up, or I could kick you while you're down about your Keown cover. Eric Weathers is probably upset he didn't get to letter Roach Balls. Yeah, listen, you know, I will tell you this. Eric loves lettering. He's an amazing letterer, but a day off is not something he regrets, and he loves. I bet you, Eric. I don't know if Eric's in the chat or if he's watching, trying to like lay low. It's hard for people when they say hi in the chat, and then it's like everybody's like, "What's up?"
I would think the Roach Balls, the letter. Can I see that your book again? I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, actually, that was worth something, like a specific approach I took.
Yeah, the lettering is
I know
such an integral part of the art. I would think
it's like lettering Mobius or R. Crumb, man. You know, you want to see their lettering. You know what I'm saying?
So like there's some edits I already did because I like put too many commas in some of this shit. But see, even then this resolution's low, but it still looks good on this. But
but I say the lettering is
either low resolution on this.
The lettering is as much a part of the art as the drawing itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
In your case.
So there was one attempt where I tried doing like nice, fancy, clean, you know, traditional type letters going across, and it did not flow. It didn't look good at all.
It's not. It's got to be the whole thing's got to be like, you know, you scratch it on a notepad and just like it's all it's got to reflect the character, which is crazy wild and you know.
And it's very like there's a lot of panels where it interacts too with the art or the piece or the action that's going on.
It's
so I think
breaking all the rules
to see what Eric Weathers thinks, but I'm pretty sure he'd look at it and be like, "What?" Or it'd be so offensive to him just because it.
No. I do a show with Eric every Tuesday. I can tell you this: Eric is an artist. He does digital painting. He shared his art station, which a lot of people don't know that he does his digital painting, his lettering. He's the real deal, and I know he would love it because we all understand. I mean, I'm looking at. I've got my R. Crumb collected there. I've got my Mobius stuff. I love Mobius's lettering on his own stuff, particularly that early Metal Erlant stuff. Arzak is a huge influence on my stuff. I saw that in college, and it was like, you know, having a conversation with a book, and then its third eye opened, and you were like, what happened? Like the whole world opened up. And so I love that stuff. And then I also think about the lettering on, again, I've got a problem seeing somebody about it, the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because you felt like not only are you buying this from the creator, but you're actually seeing, and no matter what I do, everything in this book I'm working on right now is going to be hand done, and it works for this book. I love the way that, you know, when people collaborate with Eric, the way it works for the stuff. But I think Eric is very much an art first person, and he understands that it's about what's best for the project and how he'd approach it. And I can tell you.
You know, for me, I got in 87. The Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight, came out in 86. Yeah, and then I saw this. At the same time, they had this documentary by Harlan Ellison called "Masters of Comic Book Art," and they interviewed Mobius, and Frank Miller, Dave Sim, Neil Adams.
Yep.
All the who's the guy who did the Spirit?
Will Eisner.
Yeah, they interviewed him, and I was just blown away. So I was so jazzed to get into comics and do really great stuff. And then it just didn't. You realize it's just a machine, and there's no heart to it. It's not. It's. I mean, it still did. I mean, Marvel did great comics, but I'm just saying for me, it didn't. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I wanted to do great comics, and until now, I couldn't see that possibility, which is.
I thought you were about to say until I saw Sean's painting, and now I'm like, what's the point? This is crap. No, but
I'll never be that good. I forget it.
Flow for the jeez. He redirected, and I went down. That was a counterpunch. It was a check hook. I'm down. I will tell you this. I've said, by the way, my wife was looking at the YouTube history on our main thing last night. It was just all like. It was like brutal counters collections. I was like, she's like, you all right, hon? But this is the thing. When I'm looking at this kind of stuff, right? Think about Will Eisner. Think about some of the lettering that he did. Some of the title lettering with the 3-dimensional type that he would do back in the day. Does anyone want to see him not do that? Absolutely not. Like the titles in Arzak when they're in the panel, melted into it. Our Crumb stuff when he was doing that. I think of so many people like there's and then you think about creators like Jamie Hewlett with Tank Girl. You think about the brothers Hernandez, Los Bros with Love and Rockets.
What about even like Mouse?
Mouse, exactly.
That's just he worked with a fountain pen the same size as the actual printed piece. Yep. And it was a really and that's one of the interviews I remember in that documentary where he was saying, hey, I didn't want to have any separation between myself and the audience and the creator. Like I said, if you're looking over my shoulder, and that reminds me of Rich, of your stuff, where you're kind of like looking over to somebody's shoulder. You're hanging out and you just did the sketch and you pass it to somebody. Go, oh my God, look at that! That's kind of what comics to me is. It's what makes it so much fun is that connection to everybody else.
Well, it's a perfect segue because full time I do the tattooing thing, and even though that's cool and shit, it's like what Sean was talking about earlier. Sometimes when you get out of it, like. That's just a job. So it's like I don't want to talk about what people want for their tattoos. Like when I'm out of that, I just want to talk about comics and create and I want to hear what people are creating 100% from their mind, not what they Google swiped or swiped off of Pinterest. But in relativity, it's all it's all relative because with the whole letters and stylizing stuff inside of it, the whole Mobius and whatnot. I see a lot of that in street art type stuff, or you'll see a lot of gang culture or gang style tattoos. So you'll have these big old English letters going across the stomach, but then inside of the letters you have their city or whatever bid they did or whatever they're known for, but it's still the same. It's all the same stuff and it's all relative. So it's you'll see this on a mural or maybe on some cellmate stomach or some shit like that, or this documentary you're watching, you're like, I could put that in a comic. So you take that and you'll take that whole idea of lettering and it makes for the sickest front cover or intro page or whatnot. So I
would imagine just your clientele gives you ideas for your stories.
Yeah, so especially
inspiring because everything's a springboard. Everything's like a bounce one. Even when I look at your art and I think, well, can I do something crazy like that in my art? What would happen? What? It's like putting it through a distorted mirror. What if I take that and I just painted it realistically? What would happen? Oh, that's weird. It's kind of fun, and maybe it would probably be a bomb. But I've done a zillion bombs in my life.
I just do it.
It's all that experiments. 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration.
Yeah.
Or what's the other way?
Yeah, it's it's funny too because we all the people and I don't even because I think I said aquarium, which it is technically was an aquarium, but it was in the lobby of a hotel where I saw that moray eel. The things that I put into my work, whether they're I remember taking trips to see family in India and being a little kid and bathing in a freaking metal bucket. You know what I mean? Because you were little, they could put you in it, in baby tubs and, in the middle of Hyderabad at that time. And, you would see all of this, and then family in Austria and all of that stuff, family in El Paso, Texas. You travel around, you see a lot of things, you meet a lot of people. And I don't know, man, I just sort of think that I don't believe in everything we do being autobiographical, but I do believe in living a life feeding your art. You know what I mean? It's like, I always tell people that when people ask me, like, what are some of the things I'm most proud of in my life? When my daughter used to go to daycare or for kindergarten, she had these brown shoes. They always scuff. They scuff so easy, man. And so every day they'd come home and the color would be knocked off of them. And I would go and I would get the shoe polish, you know, and every morning I would make sure I polished those shoes so her shoes looked nice when she went to school. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's in the care that you put in your work. That's in the care that you put into your campaigns when you're mailing things. It's, I meet some of the people who have that same feeling, that same care for other people. And it comes through in the work. You know, the hand lettering is a part of it for you because you're pouring your soul out. You want to share this with people. You know what I mean? And for some people, and I love this, it's the collaboration. Like when you see Kyle Ritter and Ethan collaborating, and they're collaborating across languages in a sense, you know, they're using their common language of type where one of them is speaking in sign and the other one is, you know, speaking, you know, with their voice box. And it's that's what Comicsgate is for me. You know, it's about all of us getting together. Nobody is saying, thankfully, other than the Bants, as our Australian brothers would say, we get to see Michael Bancroft, you know, writing and illustrating his book and editing it with Joe. And we see, you know, Two-Fisted Manly Tales, and you're going to see Larry Stroman, man. We're going to see Larry Stroman. We're going to see Dan Lawless. We're going to see all of these people, Michael Golden. I mean, if this isn't like, when I saw that, I go, Dan, I don't know how many times you've been told you've arrived in your life as an artist, but if you don't feel like you've arrived, Dan, I'm trying not to drop too many F-bombs on a Sunday here, but listen, you know, it's a losing battle. I'm fighting the tide.
Well, see, I've been told I haven't arrived because I never see anybody like, you know, other artists. Like, you know, like that's part of the problem in the past.
I'll allow
you know?
it. Out on a technicality. Here's the thing. I'll say this is when I see your beautiful work and then I see you riding with Michael Golden and all of these amazing artists that we know are the giants of the field. And we're like, we're all going, I can't wait to see that Dan Lawless story. I can't wait to see that cover. I want to see that cover. Like, that's it. That's what Comicsgate is. It shines a light on the stuff that we love, you know?
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier to be with you guys doing this work here with this great bunch of people we're around. I know I say it, I sound like a broken record here, but it's like, I'm like, people are like, do you know Rich Ayala's Roach Ball stuff? And I'm like, well, yeah, see, he's in the chat with me all the time. That's where we meet each other.
Yep.
And then people are like, he's in Rhode Island. And I'm kind of like, how many of you people are in Rhode Island anyway?
Yeah,
people are like, I'm in Massachusetts.
You can drive. Can't you drive across it like an hour? Or something?
Everybody's like, I'm in Seekonk, and you're like, what? You know, everybody's living, you know, in pockets, and then people are like, I'm in Houston. I'm like, my brother-in-law's in Houston. I gotta come visit you. You know, we're gonna have a convention. Let's do this stuff, and I love this stuff, man. Yeah, I do.
By the way, speaking of my Two-Fisted Manly Tales, I got to get that thing done, so I better get rolling.
Yeah, and I was about to wrap up because we're at 2 hours, and we have somehow survived without another crash. But I want to make sure. Let's wrap up, and I want to just say hey to you guys real quick after the stream, if you guys can hang for just a second.
Hey, Rich, nice to meet you. Oh yeah, well, I'll talk in a second.
Yeah, we'll talk in a second, guys.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for being here. Hit that like button. Check out Rich Ayala's Roach Balls. Check out Two-Fisted Manly Tales, and please back Nosfero the Crypt Walker. And if my mods, while we close out with our beautiful song, if my mods can drop all of that, you know, in the chat as the song plays us out. And then I will see all of you guys after this song and then a brief word from Doc Holliday. So take care, everybody. Have a wonderful and blessed Sunday. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are why we do what we do. And thank you for being here. And here's a little something, as I like to say, for you busters. Bow.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
See what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?
I apologize. I forgot you were there. You may go now.